the only middle right now. I'm going to take a vacation in 2 weeks.
Y'all ready? Yeah, you ready? All right, good morning, and thank you all for being here today. Over the past several months, we have been talking about how infrastructure investments shape everyday life in Louisville. Today, we'll focus on how those continued investments show up in real, visible ways through safer parks, improved lighting, accessible public spaces, and a budget that reflects community priorities. These investments are about safety, opportunity, and making sure every neighborhood has spaces where families feel comfortable and connected. This month, you'll hear about major park investments and a new pool opening just in time for summer. Improvements that make public spaces safer and more accessible, and how residents can help shape these priorities through Metro's budget. Now, I'll turn it over to Councilwoman Josie Raymond to highlight major park improvements and exciting reopening in her district.
Thank you. In District 10 and across the city, we've been investing in families and communities by improving our metro parks. You'll find a new playground in Klondike Park. You'll see that a community garden is coming to Butchell Park. And today I want to tell you more about the reopening of the water park at Camp Taylor Memorial Park. We're going to celebrate the grand opening of the Camp Taylor Water Park on Saturday, May the 23rd. This is located at 4201 Lee Avenue, right there on Poplar Level Road. This is a world-class facility. Algonquin was the best pool in the city.
Don't you do that.
Controversy.
Come out on May 23rd and make up your own mind. It'll be open daily except for Thursdays when it's closed for cleaning. Open daily 12 to 3, and families know you cannot beat the deal. $3 for adults, $2 for kids to get in. Opening day, we'll have a celebration in the park with a bouncy house, popcorn, cotton candy, and other activities. We hope people from across the city, this is really everyone's pool, everyone is welcome at the Camp Taylor Water Park on May 23rd and every day thereafter. We're providing youth, families, and residents access to more safe, fun, affordable recreational activities all summer long. As we head into these summer months, we need to ensure that our parks are safe, active, and accessible. It's more important than ever in these summer months. I want to turn it over to Councilor Rui to talk about park improvements and lighting upgrades and how they're enhancing safety and community use in District 21.
Thank you. Okay, good morning. Thank you for your time today. So I want to talk about, first of all, the West Florence Skate Park. So there's an area on 3rd Street right near the off-ramp from the Watterson that has been used for years by panhandlers, drug use, many things that are a problem. And we have been working for the past 2-3 years now to change that and make it into a park. And we're happy to announce that we now have the memorandum of agreement. We now have $125,000 in funding to get that park started. That's going to be a skate park for the community around there. There will be a survey going live soon so everybody can help us name the park and let us know what kind of skate park amenities you would like to see. So we're really looking forward to that, and it's a long-term project to give our youth a safe place to play and explore. That's been a big focus in our area right now, is to make sure that we've got things for young people to do that are safe and appropriate. The next thing, another park, is Houston Quinn Park, which is in the middle of Wilder Park. Yeah, Houston Quinn Park and Wilder Park. Anyway, so we have gotten funding to add 30 paved parking spaces in there. And we are working on getting solar lighting. We could go with the typical LG&E lighting, but when you do that, you have a continual payout for the foreseeable future. So we are waiting some time for the city to determine a vendor for solar lighting. So when that is up, you set it and forget it. So we're really looking forward to being able to do that. Safety and crime prevention, as I noted, is always a big deal for all communities. And part of that always begins at the roots, making sure that we have safe and stable housing for families, making sure that we have things for our young people to do and positive role models to be around to develop into the kind of adults we want in our communities. So we're very thankful that we're able to do these things to make our community better. Now, I've talked about how these investments are improving parks and public spaces, but these projects don't happen without a thoughtful and transparent budget process. Councilman Winkler, Vice Chair of the Budget Committee, will now walk us through how the budget works. Councilman Winkler?
We probably won't walk through how the entire budget works because we'll be here forever. But the FY27 budget process formally began on April 23rd with Mayor Greenberg's address to Metro Council. Over the next 7 weeks, beginning later today with an overview of the revenue, expenditures, and capital and debt, the Metro Council will hold more than 20 budget-related hearings leading to the final passage of the operating and capital budgets on June 25th. This year's proposed budget includes key investments in public safety, parks and libraries, housing, paving and sidewalks, and other areas that the caucus has prioritized in previous budgets in response to input from constituents. We want to make sure that the work that we do over the next month or two continues to reflect the thoughts and hopes of those that we serve. So how can citizens participate? Well, the best place to start is on the Metro Council website. Near the top of the page is a proposed FY26-27 budget info link. That page contains a link to both the executive and detailed budget that Mayor Greenberg introduced on the 23rd. It includes a list of all of the scheduled budget hearings for those who are interested in watching or attending. And these hearings can be accessed through the Metro Council website as well. The budget page also has an online form where the public can share their thoughts. Residents can choose up to 25 different subjects for their comments or simply share general thoughts and suggestions. Comments will be accepted until June 5th at 6 p.m. Another opportunity for public input is the community budget hearing, which will be on Wednesday, May 13th at 6 p.m. This is a chance for residents to speak in person to the Budget Committee directly and other council members who are in attendance. Registration is required and can be done in person beginning at 5 p.m. that evening outside council chambers on the 3rd floor. Of course, people always have the option of calling or emailing their respective council member, and all of our caucus members have budget information on their respective council pages as well. I might also recommend that residents sign up for their individual newsletters, as we often put out additional budget meetings or community meetings that we have to discuss the issue. Approving the Metro budget is obviously one of the most important things that we do, and I look forward to working with my colleagues to craft a budget that continues our commitment to stronger neighborhoods, improved infrastructure, and quality of life for the people throughout the city. Now, we'll move on to announcements and quick updates from members about events happening this month. If I may take just another minute, I'll start these announcements by mentioning that my next Coffee with Your Councilman meeting will be on Tuesday, May 26th at 6:30 p.m. at the Northeast Regional Library. Speaking of the budget, we'll be joined by Aaron Jackson from the Office of Management and Budget, who will be our guest to discuss the FY27 budget with our constituents. So with that, I will turn it over to, who's next? Back to Councilwoman Raymond.
Coffee at 6:30 p.m. You'll be up all night. I wanted to say that on Sunday, May the 17th, District 10 is really lucky to be the beneficiary of the Northeast Christian Church's annual service blitz. They're focused on the Bashford Manor area this year for the first time, and they're bringing their Love the Ville mentality to our area. There's more than a dozen service sites in the Bashford Manor area at parks and nonprofits. I'll post the sign up on socials, and we'd love to have people come out and join us in service in the Bashford Manor community.
Hi, Councilwoman Chappell, representing Louisville Metro Council District 15, and we are in the middle of our fifth building our blocks, which we affectionately call Bob in our office, and we've been focusing in the Wyandotte Oakdale neighborhood, and over the last few months, we have knocked nearly 1,500 doors in the neighborhood, asking residents what city services they need for free in their home and around their community. We're really excited to continue our work with Bob in the Wyandotte Oakdale neighborhood. This weekend, May 9th, Saturday, May 9th, we're going to have a volunteer day, and that's through the neighborhood, random volunteer projects, as well as a large cleanup. And anyone is welcome to join us. That's Saturday, May 9th. We're meeting in Wyandotte Park over by the old pool house, and that is from 11 a.m. to 1. And if you're not able to join us on May 9th, we would love for you to join us on Saturday, May 30th, and that is our Big Bob Day. And that's going to be a really wonderful celebration of the park. We're going to have a resource fair, a kids zone, pickleball, soccer, all sorts of activities. And we're really excited to not only celebrate the neighborhood, but the neighbors itself. So come out and join us Saturday, May 30th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we would love to see you and show you what Bob is all about. And we're really excited to uplift this wonderful neighborhood in the core of Louisville.
Good morning, Shamika Parrish Wright with District 3. I am excited to share that the District 15 Bobs are so good that we copied them, and we're having our third one in June. But for May, on May 12th, we're having our District Advisory Board meeting. We have it right here at Metro Hall on the third floor in the conference room at 6 p.m. And it's for all of our 13 neighborhoods to come and talk about legislation. You know, the good thing about our council is we can file legislation all year round. So we invite our neighbors and our communities in to talk about what matters to them. So I hope that we get a great turnout for that. Even though this is my last year as Metro Council, I am excited that we're no lame ducks here. We got plenty of work going on. And I just had a meeting with Parks Alliance about G.G. Moore Park. Money has been funded since 2023, and we're finally getting some action. Met with Brooke and the new director, and we're excited about that work coming up. But excited to be here. Hope folks turn out on May 12th, and I'll definitely be joining them on May 30th.
Good morning. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. I just want to talk about my community center that's coming up pretty soon. We had a master plan in 2009, and my community talked about getting a new community center. My community center was built in 1950, I think, and it only has a half of a gym. And, of course, the kids don't have any place to go. I mean, they can play ball, but they don't have any bleachers or anything like that. So if you go to see your Michael Jordan play, you got to stand against a wall, and you might get hit in the head with the ball because it's too small. But this year, the mayor has put in $7 million to increase the community center so the kids will have a place to play. And you never know what kind of stars are going to come out of there since they can actually play. So I'm really excited about it. It took a while to get it, a couple of different mayors, but it's finally coming. So I'm really excited about that. And on Tuesday the 19th, we'll have a community meeting. Of course, there's probably nobody will be there because it's election day. But hopefully we'll have a few people. I'll be there. So, and I know all of you guys will be somewhere. So, anyway, but the next community meeting we having is Tuesday the 19th, and hopefully somebody will be there other than me. Thank you.
I'm Ken Herndon, District 4. Quickly, a few things. Tomorrow we put out an honorary street sign for Mrs. Robert May Glenn. On Saturday, we cut the ribbon on the newly renamed and refurbished Smoketown Ballard Park in the Smoketown neighborhood, 1 to 1:30 p.m. tomorrow. We are hosting 3 events with the Office of Violence Prevention, Youth Violence Prevention Week, May 12th at Caucus Memorial Church, May 13th at California Community Center, May 14th at Roots 101 Museum. Friday, May 15th, across the street, the Alberta Jones statue is being unveiled just across the street here at 6th and Jefferson. And then on Wednesday, May 20th, the California Day final planning meeting, and also a discussion of improvements to California Park will take place at the California Community Center, 6 to 7:30. And finally, California resident Mahogany Shelton, who was just crowned Miss Derby City 2026 in March and will be competing for Miss Kentucky in June, we're co-hosting with her a Heart Pen Poem Youth Healing Through Poetic Expression project on Wednesday, May 27th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. in the California Community Center.
All right, I think I'm the last one. So I wanted to announce that the Beachmont Neighborhood Association is hosting their Festival of Flowers. It will be on Saturday from 9 to 3 at Southern Parkway and Woodlawn in the gazebo area. And the South End Community Market is also opening next weekend. We're so excited to see these things coming. We know spring is here. I'm glad to see it's lingering a bit. So the South End Community Market will open at 8:30 on May 16th. And we hope to see the community there and be at the Festival of Flowers. Thank you.
Well, we'll save the best for last, being that you got the best pool. So let's talk about District 1. I am so excited, excited about the budget proposal, excited to support all my colleagues in everything that they would like to see and their constituents would like to see in the budget. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of District 1's ask. The first, I'm going to talk about the Hemlock Project. We're going to be doing a multitude of things on Hemlock, which is one of my most vulnerable, underserved areas of my district. Going in and definitely making it a safer area by having it predominantly homeownership. There are over 17 pieces of land that sit in the land bank. So those properties, we're going to build houses on those properties. But what we're going to do first, so the homeowners that actually live on the block, the few houses that are left there, we're going to go in and totally renovate those houses so they won't feel displaced, right? We're revitalizing. I don't want anyone to get it confused with gentrification. So I want to make that very clear, one block at a time. And that's the reason that we're going to go in and assure that the homeowners that are owner occupied are going to get their houses renovated first. So I do believe that we may not have as much money as we're going to need, but we're going to start on the first phase. Secondly, there's a Lee's Lane project moving out south. That sidewalk out by Farnsley on both sides, we're going to get sidewalks for those kids. When they get out of school, they don't have a sidewalk. And lastly, the lights. The lights going out to Terry Road, Raggard Road, and Cane Run Road. Just making these roads safe. It's important. And of course, I am going to be feeding 600 residents of District 1 and allowing them to get in the pool for the first day that it opens. So I encourage everyone to look for that date, which is coming soon. I have that in a couple weeks. You can go on my social media page or you can subscribe to my newsletter. So thank you all for being here today. We're open for questions.
I have a question for Councilman Raymond. Is there a reason that the water park's only open for like 3 hours? Like I think he said noon to 3 every day. If I did, that was a mistake. So it's open 12 to 5. 12 to 5 every day except for Thursday, from late May to early August. We'd love for it to be open later, and we're looking at special events. Camps will probably come in earlier in the day, like a 10 to 12 slot, and camps are coordinating that right now with Parks and Recreation. And then folks can also rent out the water park for nighttime events, and we're looking at hosting a District 10 night there in the water park. We wish it was open all day, every day, even later into the school year. Some of it has to do with lifeguard availability as they head back to school.
Sure. I wanted to say one more thing regarding the opening of pools. That's something that we're always cognizant of when we're looking at the budget and how we can expand those hours, because it's not only hot from 12 to 5. We know it's hot all day long in the summer. But one of the programs that Louisville Metro Parks and Recreation just launched is a sponsorship opportunity. And so you can sponsor any of the pools that you would like. If you have a company or a nonprofit, you can go online and find that sponsorship form, and that's going to help fund some programs at our pools, and hopefully some more lifeguard training and other amenities that will help our pools be successful. So if you're interested in sponsoring, go to bestparksever.com and find that sponsorship information.
My question's for anybody. If anybody can speak to the $500,000 for the Home for Good program, how that money's going to be used to support our community.
So the question was, how is the $500,000 for Home for Good going to be used? I don't know that we can answer that. We haven't even had the first budget hearing yet, so we'll have to maybe punt on that till we have those offices come speak. Okay, Roberto.
Sort of a follow-up on that. I feel like when we've asked some specific questions, some Metro Council members have said, "Well, I can't really answer that because we haven't really gotten into the budget yet." But residents are expected to have some thoughtful feedback next Wednesday. Why is the community budget hearing being held so early? And why aren't there more hearings where folks can talk to all Metro Council members?
Yeah, so the question was, I'll try to paraphrase, why is the community budget meeting being held so early, and why aren't there more? I think the answer is, one, I mean, it's a function of the calendar, trying to get in all of the respective budget hearings that are required. I mean, if you look at the calendar, we're basically meeting every day from now until the time we pass the budget with the various departments that we have to hear. So one is just a function of the number of days between the mayor's proposal and when we actually have to vote on the budget. I think the other is, again, those aren't the only opportunities for people to come speak. Number one, they can come speak at any Metro Council meeting. They can access their council members. I mentioned the coffee meeting that I've got where we're specifically talking about the budget. I'm confident that all of my colleagues will have those meetings as well. So I think there are many opportunities for the public to weigh in.
I guess this question is for whoever can answer, or whoever wants to answer. I know at this point we are less than a month away from the I-65 closure. There's been a lot of concern from members in the community. KYTC has told people that it's kind of like up to people to figure out a way to get around the closures. There's the impact to businesses. There was a meeting earlier this week where people could hear a little bit from KYTC. I know some of you were there. I wanted to ask, what are some of the biggest concerns you're hearing from people? If there's anything you as council members are doing to help support them, help meet their needs, and for those of you that went to the meeting, if you're feeling satisfied with the responses you got from KYTC.
Sure, thank you. The question was, I think, what is Metro Council doing to help with this closure of 65 from June 1st to July 31st? We did have KYTC and their affiliates come to our Public Works meeting this past week, and I would encourage folks to watch that meeting. There's a great presentation, and I think that we asked some pretty fruitful questions. KYTC did have that evening a meeting at Manual High School for the public, and there's going to be another one on May 12th at Spalding University. And so we encourage the public to go and ask questions. When it comes to what we can do as the city, because this is the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet that's carrying out this much needed project, and I think the entire community understands that it needs to happen, but they also understand it's going to be a really big headache. The things that we're seeing, especially in my community, which has been impacted by some road closures that have been closed for months now, leading up to the closure of the interstate, is impacts to small businesses and other businesses that are in the area. It's been pretty radical to have our communities kind of severed and not having the ability to patronize these businesses. So I'm constantly advocating for more assistance from an economic development sort of level, awareness that people, hey, these businesses are open, please make sure you're going there. Aside from that, I am concerned about how people will be getting around on our city streets. People will have their devices, and we've been told that Waze, Apple, Google Maps, and any sort of map that you will be using will be updated in real time. But we also have to be realistic that we're going to have a lot of people driving around on our streets in areas that they haven't been before, people making quick judgments, people maybe who are getting lost. And so we've already seen the impact of this on our streets in my district, and we've seen an increase in speeding, an increase in accidents on detours that probably weren't fit to be detours in the first place. And so I wish that we would have gotten ahead of it and said, you know, what is a sensible detour, and how could we have maybe gotten in front of traffic calming measures to help with these communities that are seeing that impact. But, you know, I'm hoping that our public works team is also looking at how they can put signage in place in the physical environment, in the physical realm, so that when people are driving around, they know where the detours are. So whether that's a sign or a digital signage, that would be really helpful. But I mean, if you're just thinking about going from the airport to downtown, if you're staying in a hotel downtown, that's really difficult. There's not a real straight shot. You're always going to hit another road that's going to take you this way or that way. You might end up on a one-way road. You might end up in a place that, you know, you got completely turned around, and where in the heck is downtown? And so when we're looking at our roadways, I'm really nervous about the impact, but I'm also hoping that our Public Works Department is working, and our Department of Transportation at a local level is working with Kentucky Transportation Cabinet in order to make sure that we're having a city that works in that time. So we're going to do our best, and I hope that people will make adjustments, but it's going to be hard.
I was also in that meeting, and one thing that I noted, having been a resident of Old Louisville for 16 years and now representing part of that neighborhood and other urban neighborhoods, one of the issues that we had, they have down there, are big rigs driving through narrow urban streets. That already happens. Now, they said at that meeting that they were working with the Truckers Association and other entities to encourage better behavior, to sign everything, but I know from experience that they very often ignore that to save 10 minutes. And so I strongly suggested that they put in an enforcement mechanism, LMPD, Kentucky State Police, Sheriff's Office, to scour that area for those 2 months and really strictly and aggressively enforce that bad behavior. Cars are one thing, but big rigs going through those neighborhoods and those streets are just not tenable, causes damage, causes delays, and so I encouraged them to do that. They could give me an answer that day, but I strongly encouraged them to consider that as well.
Last question. Mine's kind of a two-parter, if you will, and anyone can kind of answer it, but my brain goes to Councilwoman Caucus with the Algonquin Pool. How has having that big investment in your district, in your neighborhood, created a safer space or added, you know, a better place for people to go, for teens to go? And then Councilwoman Raymond, when she's finished, how do you hope that it does the same thing in Camp Taylor?
Well, and then I would say, to add to that, programming. You know, we had programming all summer long, you know, from children all the way to seniors, right? We had the water aerobics on Saturday mornings. Every day Algonquin was to capacity, you know, which allowed me to know that the price was right? And even though, you know, there was a few hiccups, right, things that happened, people still continued to come back. I think the investment was definitely worth it. As well, D'Angelo Russell will be placing the new playground there as well, so that'll be another amenity. So, I mean, I think it was a great investment.
Yes, and these pools were made possible by American Rescue Plan funding, right? So you can see these kind of large-scale investments that the city might not have been able to make on their own. We've seen the vibrancy that it's brought to Algonquin, and in Camp Taylor, we're thrilled for what we know is to come. Programming is an important piece. There will be free swim lessons at the Camp Taylor Water Park. There will be senior aerobics, and they tell me that they're not enforcing senior in the water aerobics class. We're excited for kids from all across the city to come to the Camp Taylor Water Park, including kids from the Newburgh Community Center, which will soon have a full gym. And so, this is a pool that used to exist. It wasn't the full-scale water park that we're about to see, but it was a pool that existed for many, many years, and generations of families in Camp Taylor learned to swim at this pool, and it has a special place in a lot of people's hearts. So not only is it an asset for the entire city, but it's really a restoration of something that was really vital to that community for a long time.
Can I just add one thing? Yeah. Councilwoman Raymond touched on something that I just want to reiterate, because I've seen several national studies on this as well, that the investments that not just Louisville, but communities across the country made with the American Rescue Plan dollars in community assets like parks, pools, libraries, community centers, that's a large part of what we're seeing then play out in the public safety numbers. You've seen nationally historic drops in violent crime. And the data points to the investments in communities. And that's why I'm proud of the work that we've done here. And I think that we'll do in this budget is continuing to take an all of the above approach to public safety. Certainly making sure that we've got investments in LMPD is critical on the enforcement side, but making sure that we're making investments upstream in community centers, programming. We all know that when kids have something to do, they're much less likely to get into trouble. And so making sure our libraries are open, our parks are open, our pools are open, and that kids have productive things to fill their time benefits all of us. And I'm very proud of the work that my colleagues have done on that front, and I'm confident that we'll do that same thing in this year's budget. Thank you.